Hi, and welcome to Sixcess Stories. We are your hosts, Christina Gent.
And Eric Ozarowski.
And this is where we get to share some real conversations with the members of the 6 Degrees community, all about life and leadership and the power of meaningful connections. And on this episode, we have John Griswold. So he is a real estate agent and partner of the Griswold Group.
In this episode with John, we get into the value of being real and authentic and go down a pretty fun path. With that conversation, he shares some tips on how he's learned how to focus. And I think just super helpful, super relatable in 2025 about, all the distractions that we have. And then we get into a pretty deep discussion about working with family and how it's taken him and his sister almost 10 years to quote unquote figure out an effective way to work together, to run the business and finally get to a place where it feels solid. There's solid footing for the two of them and from an operations standpoint, which was just, I think, a little nerve-wracking for you and me.
Yeah.
Like, shit, we're in year 4.
I know. I mean, it was one of those things where it was certainly encouraging, right? I mean, we've known him since we've taken this over because he's the probably second longest standing member of 6 Degrees, and it's been, even through this time of knowing him, is seeing his journey, and I can certainly feel it and see it in the change now at the 10-year mark for him. So yes, a little nerve-wracking for us just to know that it's like, oh shit, we got 6 more years, but at the same time really encouraging, right? Just to know that it's like, oh yeah, that's where the stride really hits and takes off. So it was a really great conversation with John, and we just really appreciate his support over the years as well. So it was wonderful to sit down with him. So please enjoy this episode of Sixcess Stories.
Recently bought a nice podcast mic for my videos that I'm now producing, or I've been producing, on the market and stuff. But I finally went and got a legit mic.
How's that feel?
I mean, it's definitely, the audio is a huge step up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can tell?
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
And it also looks more professional because I have the podcast mic on the table, so it's
Sure.
Production value,
Sure.
It's
So tell me about these videos.
it's like those state of the market that I send out twice a month. I subscribe to this great guy named Stephen Thomas, who writes and produces all of this real estate content. And then I basically, with my operations manager, my sister, she will then package that together, and then I just create a video based on what the content is. I just read it and basically then just riff on that for 2-3 minutes, and then she embeds that video into the email.
Oh.
The analytical clients will nerd out and read
be all about it.
2,000 word email on data, and then everybody else just watches my video, and then we'll kind of skim through and find the important little whatever is important to them. But it's really maximized my open rate, and I think it's been super interesting to help. It's a more of a soft education for clients because there's so much emotion involved with buying and selling a house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's trust that needs to be built, and there's ego, and there's, my dad said this, and when he bought a house 30 years ago, and that's in their head. And then, when you're buying and selling a house, you're not just talking to your realtor, you're talking to your friends, and everybody has an opinion. And then
so many people have done it, right?
Right. And you start really losing clarity. And so sometimes by sending out a video that's not addressed to you, Christina, I'm taking you by the lapels and you're having a come to Jesus conversation.
Yeah.
It's it's more broad, so you can listen to the video or watch me talk, and then you're just oh, okay, he's making some good points. Oh, wait, that kind of explains why I keep losing deal after deal. We're submitting offers and we're never winning the deal. Or, wow, I think our house might be overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of me calling you on the carpet about it, so then I'll have clients who reach out to me and be like, so we watched your video. And I think we need to drop the price $50K. And I'm like, sounds good. Versus me having to be like the I told you so
Right.
guy.
Yeah,
Right.
the police.
Which nobody,
Yeah.
I don't want to be that. I don't want that to be the relationship I have with my clients. Like,
Right.
you know,
Sure.
so.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one way to just have people be informed without shoving it in their face.
Yeah, I think it allows the base to like process things in their own way and then come to their own conclusions in a way that makes them feel like they have more agency in the decisions they're making. And so, because I think a big complaint that a lot of people have with working with any kind of advisor is it just feels like this person is dictating to me. And now I just feel stupid. No one wants to be made to feel stupid. Even if they're seeking out a quote-unquote expert, it doesn't mean the expert should be making them feel less than, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so that's what it was an accidental benefit to these videos that I've been producing is the people that are reaching out saying that it's changing how they're wanting to go about a transaction.
That's amazing. How long have you been doing that piece for?
Gosh, maybe 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
Wasn't always the most consistent, but I've finally got it dialed where it's kind of already time blocked on my calendar. It happens every other Wednesday, and then it goes out every other Thursday or Friday. And all I have to do is make the video, and Katie does everything else. It's great. It's easy. At least it's easy now. you know?
Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about systems, and it's taking a while to get to where you're at to be able to say we're at a place where it's turnkey a little
Right.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it enough. I can now pretty much one take it. And so that's also nice because I'm not overthinking it. I read, I press record, I go. And unless it's completely awful, I don't retake.
I mean, that's kind of, for us, the version of this podcast a little bit. It's just, we're going to jump in and we'll see how it goes. One thing I do want, I have some questions on the one take thing, but before we get too far into that, one thing that we do like to do is go a little bit of a check-in, just to kind of be here, be now, before we jump in.
Yeah.
fully jump in. And one thing I think the check-in I'm sitting with is if you had one word to describe your mood coming into today, how would you describe your mood? Each of us, and our moods for...
one word to describe my mood. I would say, I guess peaceful.
Peaceful.
Is probably the word I would use. I've had just a really chill week.
Yeah.
Going through my process and not being too attached to outcomes and just... I have the tasks that I'm doing, and I don't know. I'm in a good place this year, I think, because I'm ahead of where I wanted to be goal-wise, that I'm in this really cool spot of, highs, lows. I'm not as attached to it, as I would be if I was maybe behind where I wanted to be for the year.
Sounds so nice.
So it's nice.
It sounds like a really good
It's
place.
been a long
That
chase.
sounds like
It's been a long chase to get
opposite
there.
of us. You asked about mood, and I was like, oh, Eric, do you really want to go there? Do you have the answer to your own question right now? Because
No, I don't. I think my mood is unsettled would be the word. Just just a little bit of on edge, a little bit of optimistic and frustrated and just unsettled. It's a weird... It's been a weird month. So again, the whole point of that is just to try to be here now. Okay, I'm unsettled. That's interesting, but excited to see you.
Excited to see you, and I can certainly relate to that feeling.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
the word that it just came to my mind, and I don't know why, but it's itchy, and I don't even really know how to relate that, but I'm feeling what you just said of unsettled, and for me, it's feeling unsettled, but like an itchy way. However you want to interpret that.
Itchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Itchy, unsettled, and peaceful.
Just being in this room, like listening to the two of you go through this own process, super raw. I mean, I think it's one of the coolest things about this podcast. I mean, I listen to a ton of podcast content.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that you are not trying to, what do we want our audience to think we are?
Right.
How can we chameleon ourselves to have people perceive whatever we decide is going to be the most, the best monetization or whatever, to just be super real. And I think that I guarantee you there's people that listen that are getting incredibly inspired to not front in their business and with their friends and with their family, because it's super hard to just be vulnerable, you know, and the two of you are really good at it.
Yeah, no,
Thanks.
thank
So.
you.
It's hard for sure.
That's very, very generous of you to point out and share, because yeah, I'm sure that at some level there's someone, and if one person gets that, then cool.
We're in this like fake it till you make it culture.
I hate fake it till you make it.
I hate it too, because why do we have to fake it? Why can't we just say, this is where I'm at? Because the people around us are also either in the same place or have been in that place, and they can understand, and they can probably maybe share words of wisdom if that's what I'm looking for. I might just need to be heard. I'd rather just be like, this is where we're at, we're struggling, or this is where we're at, we're thriving, whatever it is for that day. I mean, we were recording before you came in, and it was not going well. We were just like, this has been tough. And there's other times where we've done our deep dive and it's nothing but laughing for 20 minutes, right? And yep, this is how it is. This is what owning a business is. Sometimes we're laughing,
There
sometimes
are good
we're
days
yelling.
and there are bad days.
Yeah.
But to your point about being detached from it and being like putting in the work, knowing what you're doing, and then the outcome's the outcome, getting to that place peaceful is.
Yeah, and I think you have to have a mindset, and sometimes some of mindset is trying to manifest a reality that you may not see yet.
Right.
But you still have to be honest with how you're feeling in the moment, so that you can, because otherwise you don't even know what to work on,
Right.
in terms of your mindset. If you're always just being like, everything is great, I'm super happy,
Right.
well, that's not actually how you're feeling.
Well,
deep
that's
down.
the fake it till you make it, right?
You
And
know.
I was talking to someone last night, actually. She's like, yeah, no, what someone told me was be it until you see it. And I'm like, that's such a better, right, version of fake it till you make it. Because the problem with fake it till you make it is at some point I'm faking it, and it's going to go against my personal beliefs, my personal values,
Right.
and it's not going to feel authentic to me, right? With everything that you just said. But if I be it until I see it, that's like that's more of this manifesting. I'm coming from a place like I am this. I'm just not seeing the results of it quite yet.
For sure.
Which
Right.
I'm sure that's how some people interpret, like that's the intention, I think, when people say it. And it's also, listen to the importance of words in those two phrases, right? Fake it till you make it. And it's, to me, that just puts the mindset of I'm being fake until I get to the point, versus being who I want to be, embody that.
Yeah.
So I think they were probably both coming from a similar place, and they can land so differently because of the words.
Yeah. Well, and there's a level of insecurity that you build into your foundation if you start that way. The dirty little secret is as you make it, that insecurity doesn't leave.
Yeah.
You never feel like you've made it.
Yeah.
And so you're just faking it at another level.
Right.
Before you know it, you have a mortgage that you can't afford, and you're leasing 2 Range Rovers. Your kids are in private schools, and it's like you're doing all the things that you see the successful people do. And the reality is that a huge percentage of those successful people are faking it same as you. And there's the smaller percentage of the people that are actually have built it from a sustainable place. I learned at one point, the guy with the 911 AMG on the corner, like, yeah, it's a flashy car, but does he own it? Or is it a lease?
Right.
And, and like, it's not somebody's clothes and cars that tell you their net worth, it's their tax return.
Yeah.
And they're not waving that around for everybody to see. And so I think there's that aspect of especially entrepreneurs and business owners, that there's so much posturing, and then behind the scenes it can all be like a house of cards for a lot of
Mix in the publicness of social media and how it's designed for me to put the filter up and show you how great this is, right?
Yeah.
Well, and then at the same time, I mean, this came up in a different episode of how much when people show the negative side of what might be going on in their life on social media, and how now it's being perceived as like fake or wanting attention or whatever the thing is, right? We've talked about that, of like the CEO who's like filmed a video and is crying about having to fire a bunch of people or whatever because of the economy, and so there's no winning, right?
Right. There's two sides to that. So and I guess, are you familiar with kind of this conversation around there's people like, oh, John, you're so brave for going out and being in front of a camera and sharing to literally no one but everyone the argument of that's actually not being vulnerable. Where it's more of like the most vulnerable thing I could do would be pick up the phone and call my best friend and cry to that person, but I can't even do that because I'm so disconnected. I need to publicly get I need to get the praise. I need to get I think there's very genuine reasons to do that, but it's still this public kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's not real connection tied to it.
That's interesting. And I do think you could fall into that trap. I think anything, if it's like the only outlet, becomes performative, right? And I definitely have seen example as you're explaining that. I can immediately think of examples. I mean, the most cringe example is like the individual who goes on Facebook and writes a 500-word dissertation about how badly their life is going, with the sole interest in like how many people are going to comment, how many people are going to...
I get the attention.
Like how many likes, how many whatevers, how many it's going to be okay. That's a sickness that it's an indication that people are super hurting. But they don't actually want to connect, to your point. They just want the dopamine hit.
Right. Which is terrifying.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, that's the world that we live in.
I know. Social media, honestly, every day it's a battle. Do I just delete it all? Just get rid of it.
I mean, we could totally go down that rabbit hole. I mean, because I'm thinking a lot about this. Social media is a lot like what we know with brain science, your reticular activating system, you know, about that. That's how social media filters effectively work. We do have the ability, it takes work, to curate a social media filter that's actually positive, that's sending us stuff. But it takes us on an ongoing basis of, I like this, I don't like this, I'm going to unfollow this person, I'm going to comment on this person's really positive post. But it's hilarious because it's so sensitive that you can have a negative week, a bad week, and now you're fixating on the wrong things on social media, and then suddenly Facebook is a cesspool again. You know? So it's sort of like the analogy of when your spouse is having a bad day or a bad week, when suddenly the room is dirty, the bed's unmade, and the house and the bed's a mess, and you're like, hey, what's up with
just like the normal stuff that would be just
things that a lot, you know, like my wife knows when I'm having a tough week because suddenly our bedroom is just a pigsty, and she's like, what's up?
That's your
that's
like
the
you know what I mean, but but in the same way, social media is like a direct mirror of our inner monologue, and in some ways, if you're harnessing that and you're aware of it, I think social media is fine. But if it's controlling you, then you go down that really negative, horrible rabbit hole. But I think our brains are what we're filtering into our consciousness is effectively the same.
We are
thing.
what we eat. It's and all social media is food for my brain, right? And you know my tell when I'm not in a good mood. You know I'm curious.
I mean, there's so much energy that I feel. It's very there's. I mean, I've told you recently how much you rub your face.
That's a new thing. Just like stress.
A new tell. You've been doing it for 3 years, but I've just recently told you about it. And then there's breathing. I can hear it in your breathing. There's times where you'll sigh in a way that I know that you're carrying weight.
What is it for your wife?
For her, she gets a little bit more aware of my ADD-ness, just being a little bit more like hypersensitive to like things that would normally not bug her, and then I'm like, okay, something. She's like on one. I'll be like, Elizabeth, you're kind of on one right now, you know. And she's like, I'm sorry, you know. And then she struggles with anxiety, as a ton of people do. She goes down that rabbit hole pretty quick, so I have to keep tabs on her and check in with her, you know, because of that.
I mean, Christina, for the one thing that popped in my brain is like when I know you're upset, there's like a stompiness. Things will just kind of close fast, and the way that you move around.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I was like, oh, Christina's not in a good mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of being a little more ginger with the way that I might shut something or put something
like,
down.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck that you're sleeping right now. Like,
you won't know that I'm angry.
I hope you hear it.
That's so funny.
Hope you feel it. It's interesting that we can, I mean, just to pick up on the small, subtle cues. And I mean, maybe you've known your wife for how long? And you guys have been married for how long?
Yeah, like 14 years almost.
Right. Yeah. And so to be able to know someone and then be able to laugh at calling them out on it and be like, you're on one right now a little bit, huh? Like if that is an effective way to to kind of have her go, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You know, she gets annoyed at me. She often will, especially in the evenings after I've had a super long day, like attention deficit. I'm done. And I talk for a living. There's a certain point where like I struggle to be present.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she sometimes gets the brunt of that because by 6 o'clock, I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
And so she'll get frustrated, and rightly so. Sort of my retort is like, you married me.
like you chose this.
Like I have been this like bundle of attention deficit our entire life, and like I do work at it. And I will say to anybody who struggles with this, you can improve. Like I have built systems and ways of resetting myself so that I can be present for the people that deserve it, but it's not easy.
Do you have an example of something that you could share that might be helpful that was helpful for you?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one is to set the intention ahead of time. If I'm having a hard day with focus, honestly, the Pomodoro method works super well for me.
What's that?
What is that?
It sounds familiar,
you take a dedicated 5-minute break, set a timer, and you go on social media, you watch 5 minutes of The Sopranos, which is what I've been doing lately.
I rewatched The Sopranos recently. Good. It still holds up.
It's such a good show. And then I set a new timer, a 25-minute timer, where I have to be fully present, engaged in what I'm doing for 25 minutes. And that gives my brain this, like, you don't have to do this forever. You have to do this for the next 25 minutes.
Let you have to
and then
a little bit.
If you need it, you can have another 5-minute break.
Okay.
And sometimes at 25 minutes, I'm like, I need to take a break. And my wife knows if I'm really struggling that I'm doing this, and she'll be like, go take a break. I'll see you in 5. But there's other times where like after 25 minutes, I'm back in the zone. And that's the funny thing about attention deficit is that it can be a superpower too, because when I get hyper fixated, I can go for like hours.
I would say it is a superpower, right? When harnessed and when understood, and when I figure out whatever works for you, right? It's 100% a superpower.
So there are times where like I'm good, and then 3 or 4 hours goes by, and then I'm falling off the wagon again, and then that helps me get back on without losing 4 hours of productivity.
Sure.
Which is what my brain wants to do sometimes.
There's two sides to the coin, right? And so but literally people take things like Adderall to be as focused as you can be in those 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right. And but that's just baked into who you are.
Right.
Which is,
Have you ever had to do more than 2 rounds of the 5 minutes?
Oh yeah. I've had days where I'm doing it all day long.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And just because I'm just having a tough day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'm working on stuff that's not my favorite. And so I just need that. But I found that the more I've done it, the less I have those days. And so it's one of those things, it's like a tool that I'm still working with, and everybody's different. But like for me, that's been like a super effective strategy.
Is it more of you wake up and you feel like it's going to kind of be one of those days, or the day starts and it's like, oh, I'm off here. I have this tool. Let me go grab the timer and work it into is it intentional? You mentioned being intentional from the beginning. Is it more of, I know I need it right away, or how do you gauge when to use it, when not to?
I know when I'm needing it, when I'm having the subconscious pull onto social media. When I'm like, how did I get here?
Autopilot. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was making eggs for the kids and now I'm on Facebook. What happened? That's when I'm like, okay, I'm having one of those days. And so that's when I tend to lean on that. And I just struggle with transitions between things. Like, I drive home, and then the transition from work John to like father, husband is sometimes tough. And Elizabeth was like, you're here, but you're not here. You know what I mean? Like, how do I help you become here? So that like 5-minute barrier has been really effective for me.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's the timing thing. That's been helpful for me, and it's a good reminder to do it more often. I think, especially as business owners, like so much of our time is wasted, and we think it's going to all these places. Like, if I actually do a version of that,
Yeah.
whether it's breaks, but just keeping track of what I'm actually doing,
Yeah.
it can be really effective.
And you have those like things that you're not doing, you're supposed to do every day. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. And that's a great strategy for like, all right, I'm going to work on that scary thing for the next 25 minutes.
Right.
And then when the timer's up, I can do something else. And sometimes you're going to do something else. And sometimes you're going to be like, wow, this wasn't so bad. And I'm kind of in the zone. And then you just crush it. And you're done.
Is the 25-minute and the 5-minute increments, that's the specific?
That's like the science of it. Yeah.
Okay.
What they say of 25-minute and 5. Those are healthy chunks.
Okay.
And honestly, even if you did that in an 8 to 5, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off for 8 to 5, you'd be shocked at how much you get done.
See, I feel like I struggle with the mindset of having even just a 25 minutes, only 25 minutes to start or work on something. And maybe it's more of not really understanding what I have on my task list that I might be able to even maybe complete in 25 minutes, or because when I have gaps in between meetings and it's around that 25, 30-minute mark, that's where I find myself just aimlessly, what do I do for this time period?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's enough time to get in the zone to continue working on something. And so much of what I will push off to the next day is because in my mind I go, well, that's going to take me longer than the time I currently have right now before I have to do my next meeting or my next whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to start that because I need 2 hours, right? So that's my hurdle.
I would honestly say that's not necessarily a bad way of looking at it. You do need to have transition time. We're not built to do from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing. Like it's going to end up, I had a gap. For example, I had a client meeting and then I had about 30 minutes to kill and I was out in the parking lot doing nothing, basically. Just having like a silly conversation with my sister about random business stuff because it was this weird chunk of time. I'm not going to like open up my laptop and figure out a home office in my car.
Right.
But I needed that downtime so that I could be present for this, right? And so I think instead of being annoyed that you didn't maximize that 15 minutes of downtime, time blocking is so crucial. Of, all right, I don't have time right now, but let's make some time right now for tomorrow or for 2 days from now.
Yeah.
And that's what I've figured out. I do a lot of time blocking now, and you don't want to time block your entire life. Oh, from 1 to 2, I'm doing this. And then from 2 to 3, I'm doing this. And then from 3 to 4, I'm doing this. Have like 3 or 4 time blocks in a day.
Sure.
Hour blocks.
Yeah.
You're going to do more than what's in the time blocks. I use the 3 or 4 time blocks in my day to go tackle the most crucial things that I keep putting off. It's dumb, but like I'm hosting friends over at my house and my front yard is a mess and I want it to look nice. And I am my own gardener. My kids help me mow the lawn and stuff. And so I literally have a time block from today, for actually tomorrow morning, 8 to 9, I'm going to do some yard work because I keep putting it off. So I was like, all right, I have an appointment with myself from 8 to 9. I'm mowing the lawn and I'm doing the random crap. That's been, I think, really effective.
For you, there's I'm not completing the task, and then it goes into the time block. And
like yesterday, I had a time block, 3:30 to 4:30, get wife out of jury duty.
And what did that look like?
It only took me 5 minutes, but it was one of those things where I was like, I gotta figure it out.
Get wife out of jury.
I gotta go on and I gotta tell her sob story. She's got 3 kids and there's no one to help her, and don't make her go to jury duty.
For the court system that's listening, John is a very upstanding citizen. He would never say anything to get out of jury duty.
Hey, if you ever want like a harrowing story about just do not skip if you ever get called in, just talk to Ed Quinlan. He's got a great story and it is wild. So for anyone listening, talk to Ed about jury duty.
We didn't get to that with him, did we?
No, we did not ask him on air.
Part of me is like, I want you to just send me your most ridiculous time block every week, because it sounds like you don't, it's the thing that you're putting off.
Yeah, it's the eat the frog thing.
Yeah.
That's what I figured out, is it's like I use time blocking for the things that are like that I keep kicking myself for not doing.
Well, you laughed one time you looked at my calendar. I was behind on editing for the Tuesday release of the next podcast. And I literally had a time block in my calendar for like 3 hours, and it said, fucking edit, bitch.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I might need to use more swears in my calendar.
What the fuck are you doing?
At the very least, just to amuse my sister.
You mentioned working with your sister, and I did want to talk about that dynamic. I think of Christina. I obviously have a very intimate relationship, and we're very involved in this business. It's both of our full-time thing. I think we know a lot of people that work together in different capacities, but you and your sister, obviously, she does the one side of it, and you're doing the other side of it. So I'd love to hear just how you guys have figured out. Tell us a little bit how you figured out those lanes, because I know they've been clear in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been really cool to chart a whole different business model around how to run a real estate business.
Yeah, she's amazing, by the way.
Thank you. I agree. She and I started off in the business sort of buying into the traditional mentality of eat what you kill. You both are like doing everything, bringing in business, and you're both servicing the business, and you're both running the back end.
For whatever you bring in.
Yeah. The traditional way is that you can like help each other out, but what's yours is yours and what mine is mine. And very quickly I was like, this is silly. Let's just throw everything in a pot. And so that's how we did it, which was already unique. And I think phase 2 of that, which I'm incredibly excited about, is I now am 100% new business and business relationship management. And Katie is everything else. And so when you talk about like running a business, I think this would extend outside of just real estate, but essentially you have 3 categories of tasks. You have working on the business, which is like new business development. You have working in the business, handling your existing clients and keeping those relationships strong. And then you have everything else, e-time. That's what it's called. And that's marketing. That's making sure your S-Corp is in compliance. It's like making sure your taxes are paid. It's like making sure your
payroll,
client revenue management system, like all the stuff that kind of needs to happen that doesn't make you any money, but it's low-hanging fruit that can suck a entrepreneur into spending an inordinate amount of time in those categories and then wondering why their phone isn't ringing anymore. And so by having Katie do all of that, meaning that I'm not allowed to do any of that, which means I sit around and I'm like, what should I do right now? Well, I guess all I can do is make phone calls, go talk to people, and go out in the world and make relationships, because I'm not allowed to go tinker with my marketing for 4 hours, you know, and be like, I'm doing real estate things today, you know. Like, I went to Broker Caravan and talked to real estate agents for 2 hours, none of which will ever be a client of mine. Because they're competing with me. You know what I mean? But this is what in my profession, that's what people do. We call it like, I did realtor things today, you know, which is not going to actually develop any new business, but it makes you feel like you're doing something.
Sure. It's busy. It's busy work that gets labeled as productive because I'm out in the world and I did the thing. And it's actually not the most productive version of being out in the world and talking to the right people, right?
And so every client that comes in, I split that client in terms of what revenue is generated 50-50 with Katie. I joke that she's the highest paid operations manager in the country. I mean, not necessarily true.
Worth every penny.
But again, that's also been like that's turned that perception on its head, because there's this argument that certain labor is worth more than others in like a capitalist society. And the argument is like, well, the person that's bringing in the business, their labor is worth more than the person that's on the operations side of the business, that's running the back end. And I think from running this business with Katie, I'm realizing that that's just not true. It can be true based on the level of expertise and effort, but it's not intrinsically true based on the job description, right? And I think that's where people, lose their way, and then they create these unbalanced business models where the person running the back end of the operations doesn't feel appreciated or valued because they're making a fraction of what you know the other person is making. I'm realizing that there's this better way to run a real estate business where, for lack of a better terminology, like most people are either a John or a Katie. My skill set is in client relationships and building relationships and negotiation, all those kind of things. And
Yeah.
Katie's skill set is data analytics and systems and operations management and marketing and running a business, like all that stuff. And so she is incredibly happy and empowered doing just what she's really good at. And so am I. We're having this transformational year, happiness wise and also financially. This light bulb going up. There's so many realtors out there that are stuck in this hamster wheel of feast or famine. I have no business, so I fix my mindset, and then I attract all this business, and then I get really busy, and then I drown in the business, and then I stop prospecting, and then I run out of business, and then I freak out, and then I have to go fix my mindset,
Which is,
so that I can bring in the business again, and it goes up and down and up and down.
which is named Pick the Industry and Pick the Solopreneur.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's this ebb,
the cycle.
ebb and flow of cycles
Yeah.
of if I hunt what I kill,
No.
or I eat what I kill, I got to deal with it. I got to actually chop it up and
Yeah.
do the things that actually support it.
But if you actually brought in a 50% partner that doesn't allow you to handle the business, where your only job is to get more business, guess
Yeah.
what? The roller coaster keeps going up.
Right.
And
Say more about that. How did you get to a point where you and Kate were, because I'm sure it wasn't like from day one that she's like, you can't touch this at all, or was it?
no, I mean, honestly, it was a vulnerable conversation that she had with me of like, I don't want to do this anymore. I might be gone conversation. Like
I'm,
I
I'm
love
on,
you.
I'm on the edge.
Yeah, like I love you. Like you and I are great. We're best friends. I don't want to be in real estate anymore. You know, and then that shifted. That led to like okay, well, first of all, I had to learn that I had to figure out if I could do this by myself, because I had this identity of it's me and my sister in this together.
Right.
And like, I don't want to, nor do I think I can be a solopreneur, one man agent.
For all the
And
reasons,
so,
for all the reasons
A,
you just said.
You know, I figured out that I can do that. I am enough on my own to succeed, but B, I'm much happier working. And I think Katie, because I figured that out, I gave her the agency to go figure out her shit, because it was okay. Because I realized very quickly, I was like, Katie's in the business for me. She's not in the business for herself. She's in the business because she feels like she owes it to her big brother. And so I think through that process, it was like, okay, John is good. You know, if I exit the business and go do creative writing, or, you know, she's got a bunch of other interests, he'll be fine. And then it was like, okay, well, do I want to leave the business, or do I just want a different role? And I think through giving her the agency to figure that out, because I was like, Katie, you and I are good. Whatever you decide, I'm good. I have a plan. I know I have a path forward, whether you're in the business or not. I want you in the business, but if you're not in the business, I'm not going to resent you for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is like how that happens in family businesses. It tears apart families all the time.
A lot.
And so like that allowed her to come to that realization. I mean, I do have a business coach, which was just crucial through this process as well. And it's been this really interesting unfoldment of like, okay, now we're trying to almost not syndicate, but we're almost franchising this within our team. Okay, I have 3 junior team members that are growing their own books of business. I'm talking to them and say, look, if you got one deal, you can keep your, you know, they pay a small split to me. Keep that arrangement. But just so you know, you have a lever you can pull at any point. If you get 2 deals, 3 deals, 4 deals, you can pull that lever anytime you give the next deal to Griswold Group. We take 50% of it, but we handle all the operations for you, all the marketing, everything. All you have to do is just call the client once a week and just keep everybody happy, but we'll run everything. And then the deal closes, and then you don't have a lot of business going on, go back to the normal thing. And I've got some people that are starting to think about this of like, okay, so if I get too busy, I can offload business for a higher split so that I can keep chasing new business, but they can turn it on and off as their own separate business owner. And so it allows them to have agency in that But I'm starting to realize that I think we're going to have some buy-in here where it's like, hey, I would rather take half of the deal and just do what I like to do best than do it all by myself.
Right.
Well, those 3 people,
You know?
have you seen that they're more of a John than they are a Katie? Is that what you see in them?
One of them is probably more of a Katie.
Okay.
And at some point, I think she wants to get her husband into the business, who's
Okay.
very much like me. So it's interesting. So it's like at some point, can I shift her onto the operations side of the table?
Sure.
And then it's like we have 2 people in operations and 3 or 4 people on the sales side.
Right.
And if this works, I think everybody's going to make more money than they ever have before, even though they're technically splitting every deal with somebody else. But because we're bringing in a lot more business and everybody is happier, not to mention has a life, because that's the other thing. I mean, if you start as a single agent, if you get to the point where you've got 5 or 6 deals going at the same time, hey, spouse, I'll see you in like a month.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're working 12-hour days. It is not easy. Or if you're not committed to those 12-hour days, you're having deals going sideways and
falling apart.
clients that are threatening to fire you, and like they're certainly not going to refer you to anybody.
I think that's what's so interesting. It's always been intriguing to me about the real estate world specifically is you wear, as a realtor, there are so many hats,
Yeah.
right? And almost more so than any other business, right? Because the product is moving. And so there's this marketing piece that I have to be an expert marketer. Like we've talked about in the groups of how there's different ways I can approach marketing a house. And there's effective ways and there's ineffective ways. And then the negotiation tactics that you've talked about and then we've discussed, that's its own skill set.
Yeah.
Right. But I have to be the master of all of these things and then mix in the service side, the back end side. And I'm very much a Swiss Army knife it's a skill set of a person. And to just think about like right people, right seats is, there's some people that aren't supposed to be doing all those things and they would be happier. They would be more effective. They'd be more efficient if they did half of them.
And they would have the bandwidth to improve their skill set.
The skills that
In the
they're already
places,
strong
you know,
in.
like suddenly I'm like, you know what? I can actually have the bandwidth. I'm really good at negotiation. I could probably get better.
Yeah.
What if I like completely mastered that? I really went down that rabbit hole, and I went down the rabbit hole of psychology.
Yeah.
It's like really understand my clients at deeper and deeper and deeper level, because I'm not worried about how to be a better marketer or how to be a better at analyzing data and understanding what a house is worth.
Yeah.
Because I don't do that anymore, thank God. You know, I mean, the best thing that ever happened to me is that when someone's like, what's my house worth? Hey, Katie, what's this house worth?
Yeah.
Like, let me know.
Yeah.
And I will
I'll relay.
go take it from there. But
Yeah.
like, I don't find out. I'd like you to find out what it's, you know, like that's fantastic.
Well, and I think that's so important. We've heard this so many times. Figure out what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And then get better at what I'm good at rather than focusing on the weaknesses. There's a certain level like, maybe I need to know some reports or what if someone sends me a report, how to analyze something. There's a baseline.
Yeah.
But at some level it's like, no, Katie, please get me this information and read it.
Yeah, I don't want to be entry level good at all the different jobs of the business. I want to master the ones, or at least try, work hard at the ones that I enjoy doing. And that's part of with where we're at of just hiring people and bringing people onto the team to do the things that Eric and I are not executing at the highest level. And it's, let's bring somebody in who will. I mean, even, oh my gosh, this podcast and how long it was taking me to get to a point where I think our intern, in the 3 episodes that she has done, by the 3rd one I was like, holy shit, this is perfect. Like, this is so good. This is better than the last one that I did.
Yeah.
At a point where I had been doing like 10 or 12 of them. I'm like, all right, well, this is not in my hands anymore, because there's somebody who can do it way better than me.
Yeah. So with that being said, around there's so many different hats and you've kind of carved out your lane of like new business. What is your favorite part of your side at this? Is it the negotiation piece?
I think it's probably the negotiation piece and just being able to go really deep with my clients.
Yeah.
Because I have that bandwidth now. And there was a point where I almost didn't want to go deep with clients because it would inevitably lead to helping them with something that wouldn't necessarily make me money. You get to know somebody and then you like find out they're trying to get their carpets replaced in their house. And then I'm like, okay, make a note, find them a carpet guy You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, I didn't want to go deep with people because it was just creating more work for me.
Yeah.
Of like follow up and like things to solve and whatever. And like now I just text Katie. I'm like, had a great conversation with so-and-so. Can you please send him a carpet guy and a financial advisor and whatever else? And I'm on to the next call, and I don't have to follow up. I don't think about it. I just know it's done.
Yeah. It allows you to go deeper.
Incredibly valuable. So yeah, I can go deeper
Yeah.
with people and know that I have support behind me to like actually follow through, because that's the worst part. You connect with somebody, you open up to them, they say, oh yeah, like I'll follow up with this, and then they don't.
Yep.
And then you go, was that all bullshit?
Yep.
And like I've been guilty of that in my career.
I was telling Christina before you got here that I'm overcommitting to things and I'm missing on my own commitments, and then I'm beating myself up about the things, the easy things, the things that should be home runs out of the park, and then it's frustrating me that I'm not able to live up to the standard that I have for myself. Yeah. And that's too very, very real for me.
I think that's what I love the best, and I have more mental bandwidth because I'm wearing less hats. I have the bandwidth to be like, yeah, I can show up at your jiu-jitsu class, Landon. It's on my calendar. You're like, I'm been more present as a father and as a husband and just available to my family in a way that was harder when I was just wearing too many hats. So.
Yeah. How long ago was that shift for you then? So I know that there's been different iterations of an evolution around clarity around roles, changes in the business.
I would say about a year.
Yeah.
From when we first were like, let's make some changes. And it probably took 6 months of really retooling. Katie had to learn a bunch of aspects of the business that were more like my bailiwick. And so she had to take a lot of that stuff come fully off my plate, where I hadn't fully handed it to her. And so she didn't know how to fully do it on her own. That was a really cool process of being like, figure it out. I don't want to do this anymore. This is your job now. She crushed it. And honestly has built out a side of the business that I was like, oh, if I had known it could be this well run, makes me sad to think of how we used to run our business. Like it was such a fly by night. Like, I don't know, what do you want to do today?
Yeah.
And so it's very cool just to see the consistency that our clients are getting now that was not in the place before.
Yeah.
Even
since we've known you, right? Like there's been just an evolution and a shift, and it's been, more peaceful, right?
More peaceful. Yeah. And it's been nice just to kind of shift with that. And to get to that place of kind of feeling peaceful, of I kind of know where we're headed, and I'm not trying to like bail out the boat. And there's 3 years of just trying to bail out the boat, and like I don't even know where the holes are. Right. You know what I mean? Like, why is this so hard? Yes, real estate's in a recession, but it feels like it's deeper than that, and so to finally figure out what holes to plug, and now it's like we're the opposite. We're bucking the trend. We're largely outperforming the average real estate, company right now. Right. In terms of production, and it's a great place to be.
Yeah, which is so cool. Like, congrats on the growth and the journey of, obviously took some time. How long were you in business until?
Oh, God. I guess 2018 or no, 2015. So it's been about 10 years. Yeah. Of doing this. And, it's funny. Like an agent I really respect, when I was getting into business, suddenly was just crushing it. And she was telling me, she's like, it'll take you 10 years. She's like, it took me 10 years. This is year 10.
Everyone says 10 years, and I like...
In real estate specifically?
Just business, right?
Business.
So there's so many quote-unquote overnight successes that it seems where did they come out of left field, and they've been doing it for 10 years.
Right.
And the whole 3 to 5 years, most businesses fail, right? And then the ones that are able to sustain between 5 to 10 years, sometimes it's earlier, but 10 years is a pretty normal track to get to a place where it's impacting.
We stop paying attention to the overnight success after 2 years. And sometimes they sustain, but oftentimes they fail.
Yeah.
They quote unquote crush it, and everyone's paying attention to them. They get Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And then suddenly they're doing medical sales. Like, what happened to Jimmy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's well, he's doing something else now, and so yes, you have to start the engine, which sometimes people never even get that far, but then when you start the engine, you have to get through the plateau that inevitably comes where you start to question everything and you go, am I even good at this?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you guys are right now.
We're very
100%.
You know what I mean?
much-
You're right in that.
100%.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
And
It's so hard, and yet it's so rewarding at the same time, which is obviously why we're still here and why we are still gonna try harder and keep experimenting. And but even, I mean, just the fact that we're sitting in this space at Mic Drop, and we started the conversation talking about like comics and how people get started, and same thing, right? There's people who we think they were just this overnight success, like a Matt Rife, for example. He's been doing comedy for 10 years. They didn't just start this a year ago, and they might have just became famous. Something happened, the algorithm, whatever, and it just clicked, but they've been working on that craft for so many years.
Yeah.
So it's across all different kinds of industries, whether it's entrepreneurship or entertainment.
Yeah.
10 years is pretty normal.
Seems like the average, yeah.
Yeah. To achieve a certain level, right, of notoriety, fame.
Of feeling like you have momentum.
Yeah.
And you're not like one bad month from bankruptcy.
Right.
Or just like getting a different job.
Yeah.
Which again, like we're 3.5 years, we're not even 4 years. And I was
Yeah.
like, tell me maybe there's 6 more years of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been there. I mean, it was like a year and a half ago where I was on the couch and I was literally looking up Uber driving.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth was like, what are you doing? You're not going to drive Uber.
You're not gonna do
And
that.
I was like, I know, but I just need to go down the rabbit hole because I'm freaking out, and
Yeah.
it's just, it happens.
I need to figure out a way. So especially, I mean, you have a house and kids and a family, and
Yeah.
right, it's like
I was like, I'll
I'm
drive
not-
at night. And then I like went down the rabbit hole, and then I came in like an hour later, and I was like, so I did the math, and if I did that, I would only make us another $8,000 a year. And I was like, you're right, makes no sense at all.
No.
Unless you
know what
got
I mean?
clients from it, unless you were actually getting the business from it, which
Right.
Which they also don't really let you do.
what do you mean?
Yeah, no, you
Well, you
can't. You can't.
could.
Well, you can. You got to be real.
I think,
Yeah,
I
But
think
can
I
get
found
reported.
if you were my Uber driver, I'd listen. I'd listen to you talk about my house. Just play your videos in the
Yeah.
background of the educational stuff.
In my experience, the moonlighting advisors don't do well.
No,
Because
it's-
people are like, I don't need to take financial advice from the guy that has to Uber.
yeah,
Right?
No, for 100%.
You know what I mean? And that's the hardest barrier to entry, is that with that kind of a thing where you're handling someone's biggest transaction, like you have to be all in.
Yeah,
And that's financially crippling at first. To
it's
be
a
all
big,
in
it's a big
Absolutely.
thing.
on a 100% commission, no benefits situation.
Yeah, we've experienced versions of that where it's what if I go do another thing or try to figure out how to make a little bit of extra money to
You've talked about picking up a bar shift for 3 years.
Yeah,
Like there's so many times. where
mainly
you're
because
like,
I love it. And
well,
it's just
no,
a fun
but you
thing.
bring it up when we are struggling, and you're like, I need to go find a bar
Yeah,
job.
that's
I need
my
to go.
version.
I need
It's
to go.
my version of
Yeah.
Uber.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
Part of me like just knows like if I'm investing anything that's not 100% here,
Yeah.
I'm going to feel it, and that it's taking away from the focus.
Right.
You could stop the bleeding, but it could be the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what I've seen, is that as soon as you start moonlighting onto a second income, it's the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? And it's not the solution, basically. It's not the...
No,
it's
the
not
solution is to stick with it until you learn enough to figure out, until we figure out the way to make it work. And so much of it is like, I need the runway, I need the bandwidth, I need the capital, right? All of these things are parts of it, but there's a bunch of reasons why businesses don't fail, right? And some of it's just time. I just need enough time to fail enough times and not give up. So we talked about Katie a little bit, and I'd love to, because this is a family business for you, how the dynamic with your dad, who was kind of running the business prior, how that transition is going. If that's something you're willing to talk about.
Yeah, we can talk about that. It's been really cool to facilitate that transfer. It's been a good experience for me of trying to weigh my own bullshit of in a scarcity mindset of, if I had more control, the business would be going better. which actually has nothing to do with my dad. It's everything to do with my own like self-consciousness or fears or like ego or whatever, versus also weighing at the end of the day, is anything more important than your relationship with your family member? Shouldn't that always trump like whatever financial benchmarks that you think you should be hitting?
Yeah.
But then but you're a business owner, and like if this person wasn't a family member, you would act this way or that way, right?
Sure.
And so you're going through all of these, weighing all of these things, and I think it's been difficult, but a really worthwhile exercise of like figuring out what matters. And I think when you work with family, every decision you make is more heightened.
Yeah.
Because the stakes are higher. You can't fire your dad and then be like, so what's going on? You know what I mean?
Come over for the weekend with the kids.
Not that it's, that's really haven't even crossed my mind, but you know what I mean? Like you have, if it's just like an arm's length business, you can just be like, well, you know, we're going another direction. You know what I mean? And you might never ever see them again. You'll get over it and they'll get over it. But like with this, the stakes are much higher. It also means that you can trust them at a level and confide in them at a level that you just can't do with a normal business. And so I think for people that like avoid that, I honestly believe like the benefits of working with family far exceed the downside, but you also have to treat it with the respect it deserves. Like this is like a relationship that like needs watering.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's so many examples of people going into business with family and it doesn't work out and it ends up destroying the family. I mean, that happened to my dad. My dad and one of his brothers went into business together, and I was very, very young when all this happened, so I don't know what the actual business side of it, whatever came to fruition with them, but essentially my uncle had to leave for whatever the reason was that he was not able to be in that business anymore. And my dad was pretty much pushed out of the family. I mean, he wasn't really invited to any family gatherings and that's like the whole family, right? So he just kind of got outcast from everybody else, and like hasn't seen his siblings, hasn't seen his mom, hasn't, right? And all because of a bad business situation. It's been really amazing that we've attracted so many people in business that are in business with family members or significant others, and probably because that's who we are and that's what we're doing. So I think we're just naturally attracting it. So it's really, really wonderful to be surrounded by people who have found success in being in business with family members and business with their significant others.
It's been rewarding, and I think the thing that I figured out, and obviously some of this is like generational. So like my dad's 75 and very squarely in like a baby boomer generation, different communication styles. And so I think I've learned to not assume what my dad is thinking, because I've been wrong a bunch. For example, like I kind of want my dad to let me run with all of the clients. I don't want him out of the business. I just want to be the one that's running point on not just my clients, which I've got a big client list, because nature of being in the business for a long time, his phone rings. You know, he's not chasing the business anymore. He doesn't care to. But when his phone rings, he's like, okay, cool. Fred's back in the market. Like, I want to work with Fred. Yeah. But like, I'm really good at, can you just give Fred to me? Like, I'll take really good care of Fred. You know, like, I was like, well, does he not trust me? No, it had nothing to do with me. Through multiple conversations, it was him being like, I want to pull my own weight. I don't want to be like,
just collect the check,
just along for the ride. Like the honorary person that's just like sucking money out of the kid's business, you know? And I'm like, well, that's not how we feel. And so it's like interesting, like having to figure out what are people's mindsets, what are their own insecurities, how to give them what they want, which is sometimes not what they say they want. Because they don't really know what they, you know what I mean? It's like there's the psychology of it is crazy, but you have to be so careful because the stakes, again, are incredibly high. I think the thing we've done the best with our family business is having very upfront conversations about what is the most important thing, which is family, which is relationships, which is my relationship with my father, is more important than any client, any business deal. I would let Griswold Group implode before I would lose my relationship with my dad. And I think Messaging that once in a while to family and reminding family of that, I think helps when you have to have the tough conversations.
For sure.
And also message to yourself, because you can lose perspective.
Easily.
And then it's like, wait, what am I doing? Like,
yeah. How does that relationship and those priorities, those values, how does that translate to your team that's not Katie?
Yeah.
Because you have 3 people that are on your team that aren't family, but I'm sure they feel like family at times.
Yeah.
You've been working with them for a while.
They do. And I think because Katie and my dad and I like work really hard in our relationships, I think that has given this level of safety on the team where I think people are comfortable being around us. And because we're so close, Katie and I can bicker, poke fun at each other right in front of our team members, and it's fine, and it's funny, and it's whatever.
Sure.
There's some dynamics, like family dynamics at play, because it's evident that we have mutual respect going on with our family, that can be very attractive to people that are looking to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And,
functional, not dysfunctional.
And I think, like, to my dad's credit, he is very, very good at, I guess, mirroring or demonstrating what it means to be like a low ego guy.
Sure.
He's not a pushover, but he's also not somebody that is leading with ego. And I think that not the typical patriarchal, like, CEO business owner. That's allowed us to have this dynamic that I think we're more accessible to the team. I'm more type A than he is, and so I think it's been good for me to be around that to sort of soften some of my intensity.
Yeah.
Because I can be a little bit more, certainly more intense than him, and so I think it's been a good dynamic, I think, just to have that. And I mean, so far we haven't had a single team member who's joined us that's left.
Yeah.
I think it's been 3 or 4 years that we've been building this out. And I think that's also a big part of the way that I look at a team, is that I consider them clients. Sorry if you're listening to this podcast, team.
Well, I think,
I
mean, the way that you consider clients is you put clients above, like, they're as close to family as they can get from my experience of you. So it's hearing that might come off in a certain way, but knowing the way that the level that you will go to understand, develop a relationship, and build depth with a client speaks volumes. It's deeper than actually you're an employee on my team. Yeah. Right.
Well, it's like, when every Monday I have what's called a customer service call for everybody, all my active clients, anybody in escrow, anybody who's got a listing, any buyer that's likely going to be looking at property this weekend. My first 3 calls are not to those people. My first 3 calls are to my 3 team members. And that's by design, because they are that crucial to me. And I know that if I want to have those team members in 10 years, I have to put in the relationship building work there.
Yeah.
I have to understand what they want, who they want. They have to also understand me. And I think that relationship building is the thing that I think people don't take the time to do.
I don't think people know how to do it. So, and I know we've talked about this in depth in multiple situations. I'm curious, I'd be interested to hear from you. What would you say is the most important part of developing a relationship with a client, with a team member? What's the piece that most people don't do that gets missed?
I think asking the right questions and then consistently following up with similar categories, but going deeper with those questions is what leads to a relationship where you have more leeway with people after a while, because there's trust. You figure out, like, there's mutual things that you connect on.
Yeah.
A big part of what I'm doing with my team is, like, learning enough about them to not ask a stupid question. How was your day today? Like, I know my team members individually enough where I'm asking much deeper questions, and, like, I know what's going on with their lives. I know that so-and-so had a fight with their girlfriend and, like, she moved out or whatever. That's not even true, but I'm just, like, examples. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think doing that allows a stickiness on the team, because for me, like, I want to build something that's sustainable. I don't want to be having, like, super high turnover, churn and burn, bad blood, frustrated because somebody, like, is doing really, really well and they used to be on my team and now they're not. And, like, the whole thing, like, the real estate industry is hyper competitive. there's tons of hurt feelings out there, and I taught that person everything they knew, and then they left, and now they're competing with me, and like that whole thing, right?
So many industries.
Yeah.
And I think that people are so quick to pull the victim card and say they did this to me, instead of looking in the mirror and going like, how much time did you spend building that maintaining and building and improving that relationship with that person? Or did you just sort of take them for granted and go like, well, I'm God and they're just lucky to be in my orbit?
How lucky for them to be.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of agents buy their own bullshit when they think, well, I'm the rainmaker. I'm like, I do $100 million a year by myself or whatever. Why would anyone ever want to leave the mountaintop?
Right. It's so good here for me, and by default, you.
Right. Right.
Status.
Well, I like what popped into my head is, so the relationship building aspect, and just from previous conversations we've had, there's this stacking that has to happen to it to build a relationship. There's actually either up or down, and I think so you said I asked the right questions, and from the conversations, I think one of the things that I've noticed that you do as well as anyone that I've met in terms of relationship building is, the consistency. The next time I call you, because I know the thing that's going on, your girlfriend just broke up or whatever happened, I'm going to ask the question about the thing rather than like, so what's new?
Yeah.
Right? Because then it doesn't build. I could call you every week for 52 weeks of the year and say, hey, John, how's it going? What are you working on?
Yep.
Right? And that will get me consistency.
Yeah.
That doesn't get me relationship building.
Yeah.
I have to ask more poignant questions, and then to be able to call them the next time or interact with them next time and ask a deeper question. Right? Question. Those are the right questions. Right?
I think a lot of times people they struggle with getting to those deeper questions, knowing how to get to those deeper questions, or just being uncomfortable with working on that skill, which is, it's part of our motivation to create some of the environments or some of the things that we do, or the different discussion topics that we have in our groups and stuff like that. It's how can we help people understand how to get deeper and how to build on top of that, build on layers, rather than show up to every single networking happy hour or whatever the thing might be and go, so what do you do? Right? And start there. It's, well, what if we can actually go a little bit deeper?
I think people lose sight of the fact that when someone's building a relationship with you, it happens when they are talking to you. When you're talking to them, you're building a relationship with them, but they're not building a relationship with you. So a lot of people, they're like, I'm building a relationship. I've been lecturing them for an hour about how to be better at...
We've invested time. I've been with them for an hour, so there's a relationship because of the time.
And you've done all the talking, and they respect you more maybe, but they don't have a deeper relationship with you. They don't have a deeper connection versus letting them
because
talk.
If I'm sharing something and I'm the one who's getting vulnerable, or I'm the one who's being able to share like my story and who I am, people love to talk about themselves. And so of course that's going to make me feel closer to you, and especially because everyone is a mirror for me. Right. So if you're listening to me intently, eye contact and nodding your head and doing all of that, I'm going like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm really connecting with John, and I'm the one who's talking the whole time.
I don't know what it is. I just like him.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, it's so basic, but it's easily missed, and some people never figure it out.
Yeah. It's an art. The hard part is it's an art. So there is no like magic bullet question of like, I just got to ask this question this one time and then relationship happens.
Yeah.
It's not how it works.
No.
Right. So there's an art in understanding how it works, but
yeah.
It's fun.
Well, I'm curious, as a reinforcement, I hope that there's been a shift, at least for the two of us. I'm curious if there's been a shift in mood. Maybe it's continued. Maybe peaceful still your word. But as we've coming to a close, what's the word for mood?
I think just grateful. This has been a great conversation, and it's been fun. Like, I'm glad that we didn't spend the entire time talking about what I do for work. I think it was cool to kind of go deeper and you asked good questions, and it was just fun to kind of unpack all the things.
Yeah.
So
I'm feeling re-energized, so in a different place than unsettled for sure. Thank you for bringing the peace and the good vibes. I needed this conversation more than I thought. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm feeling connected. I'm feeling the calm energy that John, that you came in with. I feel like I'm like, oh, I got some of that, which is really nice. So yeah, this was lovely. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks for coming.
Yay.
Appreciate you.
So I wanted to, because it's actually, well, maybe things are just relevant if I make them relevant. So it doesn't really matter. But I want to play something. I sent this to you. And it just hit me so hard when I watched this last night.
Is this a Bryan Cranston?
No.
No.
But that one also
like
was
that.
really good. It's the one I sent you before that.
Less memorable.
Great. But no, okay, so on this episode with John, we talked about the fake it till you make it, and all three of us were in agreement that we were like, yeah, I'm just not a fan of that mentality. And so listening to this yesterday.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't have imposter syndrome. You've just been conditioned to believe that doubting yourself makes you more likable. And that questioning whether you've earned your place makes you humble, even easier to digest. Stop shrinking and stop living your life for other people's comfort. Stand in it. You know who you are.
I mean, I think it's interesting because we've had this conversation of imposter syndrome on this before. And
Well, hold on. Give the person.
oh
credit.
yeah, shout out. Yeah, my bad.
Here's this
Hold
audio.
on.
Here's this
Pause.
audio clip.
Here's this amazing audio clip. His name is Kalen Allen, and his handle is the Kalen Allen, and Kalen is Kalen, Allen, Allen.
Thank you, Kaylin.
So wow, there's a lot of people who follow him that you know what? Here, that deserves a follow, but I just hit the follow button for this guy. It just really hit me so hard in the best way last night, listening to that and being like, yeah, why the hell are we still trying to like succumb to this imposter syndrome when it's like, no, I am who I am, and I worked really hard and I'm here. And there's been a couple times even when we've talked about imposter syndrome and made that point where people are still like, yeah, and I'm still dealing with it. I'm like, yeah, because society is at fault here.
Maybe. I think part of it it almost goes back to the hard work conversation. So if I categorize hard work as a certain way, as for me, like I've said, like I need to like physically feel like I'm contributing for it to be hard work.
Sweating.
If that's how I feel, then do I get to the place where, well, no, I deserve to be here because I put in the work to be here for something like what we're talking about, right? So like there is that part of the disconnect where people go, like they feel the imposter syndrome. I'm asking, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's, for me, I think that there's so much societal pressures or influence. There's a lot of societal influence to put people down, to try and for some reason say that someone doesn't deserve, I don't deserve to be in whatever room that I'm in right now because of experience, because of gender, because of, I mean, all these different things that people will put on someone. And it's like this, it's the status game, right? It's like, well,
What do you mean people put on other people? Like it's the
I think that people, they will act better than or more than someone who maybe is like the newer one in the room, or like the first female to be on the board of whatever the hell thing, right? And the way that someone gets treated in that space. And that is the kind of ways that people will start to like succumb to the imposter syndrome mentality, even though they worked just as hard to get into whatever the space that they're in.
Yeah, so I guess yes, and I think it's also like projecting that a little bit, like so from societal is like, ooh, I don't feel like I belong here, and so just having, if I'm coming in with that mentality, I'm like putting that into the room or the space, and more of what you're talking about shows up because of that. I think it's like it's a me thing first. I think
Well,
there's societal there's like pressure, and we're talking hypotheticals. I'd love to, if there's a more specific concrete example of where you felt that way. Or
well, okay. So if we want to make it specific, did I experience imposter syndrome as we took over this business, and now all of a sudden I have this title that doesn't really mean anything, but I now own a business, and now I'm doing things that I've literally never done before and I don't have any experience in. But the thing that I do have experience in is understanding people and humans and communication and how to connect with someone. I'm actually really freaking good at that. Hence why we do the things that we do. Obviously, right? But like it, and I don't know that there was anyone that necessarily said, well, actually, that's not true. I probably had a couple of conversations early on that were almost like this like warning tone of, this is going to be really hard. Are you sure, are you up for it? Kind of the,
they were right.
Well,
but that doesn't have to necessarily do with like the lack of inexperience or lack of.
It definitely can, I guess, just that's where like the imposter syndrome, I think, can start to seep in of like, yeah, do I even belong in this position and in this business and in this thing? I'm not saying that that's really like it was a strong part of what I felt. Maybe I don't really remember if that's something that was like that overwhelming to me. I just I do think that there's a lot of influence, and I 100% hear you that so much of it comes from within, and there's a lot of things that are taught. There's a lot of things that are influenced by parents and loved ones and friends and society and social media and all the things. And so I guess all I'm trying to go back to with this is like that video to me was just reaffirming that I don't actually have to give in to this imposter syndrome just because other people are like, well, I feel imposter syndrome. It's like this is what it reminds me of. This is exactly what it reminds me of. It's like this competition to show less than, to like be like humble or whatever. So in the bar industry, I will never forget that there was this competition of, well, I'm working on this many hours of sleep and I'm working on this many hours of sleep. We're like bragging about being there on the least amount of sleep, and I win if I'm here and functioning and I got the least amount of sleep from all of my coworkers. Like, why was that what we were competing for? Versus I actually got a great night's sleep and I feel really healthy and good, and you know what I mean? It's that kind of, it's almost like competing to the bottom or competing to this place of feeling less than to now humble myself to be in this place and work even harder. And I had to go and do extra, or I had to do it on no sleep, or I had to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, what if I just lived a balanced life, and what if I am all that I am, and I'm a powerful ass bitch, and I can do this work and I can do it really well.
You are a powerful ass bitch.
I know. I don't know how much that resonates with people, or if people are just like, no, I'm going to live in imposter syndrome and that's just where I'm at. But like, I would just highly encourage people to just really look at why is that even existing for each of us or any of us?
I think so many people, it seems like it's all figured out, and especially business owners, like even really successful people, a peek behind the curtain is like, oh wow, like this isn't as buttoned up, right? Mm-hmm. I think the part of even the conversation with John was when I first met him, I was like, oh, you have your shit together.
Dude, totally.
Right? And
absolutely.
And not that he didn't, but like the level that we have seen in the last couple of years, he just gave off and if you want to call that imposter syndrome, of like the way he presented himself, the way he carried himself, just the way that he communicates, like his level of knowledge. It's an example of someone that's like, I can still be really quote unquote successful at some level, right? And yeah, there's room for improvement, right? And
Well,
I think
sure.
that's the biggest piece that I like from just getting to know him over the years is like, it's so cool to see him level up and figure out ways to get better, and then get to a place where like he can fucking laugh at being like, yeah, I don't know what that was.
Well, I mean, yeah, he literally brought up on the episode about how even just last year, literally even last year, he was looking up driving for Uber, and he was like, well, okay, if I drive at night, and then doing all the math, and he said it would only have like over the course of a year only make
Yeah.
them like $8,000 more or whatever the thing
And
was.
I mean, I've been there of, do I
100%,
go
you're-
get another bar job?
Yes.
Or like, what if we do like just to make ends meet type thing?
But okay, so yes, all of that is true. And I think this is different from the imposter syndrome conversation, because I think what happens for so many people is people are feeling, they're feeling less than, they're feeling undeserving to be in whatever room or space or whatever the thing is, and that's why the imposter syndrome creeps up, when really we all have such incredible gifts and skills and things that there's a reason why we're doing the things that we're doing. And maybe not every human out there is doing what they truly want to be doing. Maybe there's
I would say
whatever.
most aren't.
Well,
Half would be
okay.
a stretch.
Okay, so I guess I'm maybe speaking on the people who are more I don't know, in the community that we're in, because it's a lot of people who are in business, and for anyone who is experiencing imposter syndrome after just knowing full well, no, I'm good at this.
I think a different twist or a different angle or maybe a different place to start is the idea that everyone started as a beginner. We all start at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And my beginning is different than your beginning. And the difference between now and 20 years ago is we're at mic drop, so I'm thinking about comedians. Like, you don't see the social media clip of pick your favorite comedian that was grinding for 10 years to get to where they got to and working out all the material. Now I do, because it's recorded. So social media and like the clips of things last longer. So if someone puts out like I'm doing a video for the first time, like that lives forever and it's more visible, and we all start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think that the imposter part is like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be on the journey, and not comparing that to anyone else, and being okay with it. And as long as I'm getting better, as long as I'm improving, or I just quit, pick one. But if I'm just living in the imposter part, that's where I think it's a trap.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I really feel like there's so much opportunity for each of us to step into our power and step away from feeling like an imposter. Because I see the people that, at least the people that are in our community, and the people that we see on a daily basis. We just went to a very large event yesterday, and everyone is just so talented and so unique and so great at the things that they're doing. And I don't know how there's not, I guess, many people who are just on the daily raising their hand and feeling like an imposter. Because again, that's vulnerable to even say that out loud. And I'm sure it's happening for so many. And it's like, no, dude, like, you're really, really good at this, and lean into that and just step into that power.
Well, so the other part is like, there's no one better at being you than you.
Exactly, because there's no one else who is me.
Right.
It literally
does
not exist.
You are the best Christina Gent, and for the people that have other names that are more popular,
Sure.
a little bit, but like in the uniqueness of the fingerprints that you have. Mm-hmm. But like, and there's only one of me. So the only job.
No one else will ever be me better than I am.
Yeah.
So
I mean, part of it is like, do you want to be the best you? Do I want to be the best me?
yeah.
And if the answer is yes, what am I willing to sacrifice? What am I willing to do to be the best version of me?
Totally.
And and all it has to be is, how do I get better than yesterday?
Yep.
And it's not a linear straight line from 0 to 100. There are bumps and bruises and waves and ups and downs, and
100%.
as long as it's still going up and to the right on the graph, great. I mean, we've talked about imposter syndrome. It's interesting because I don't know when. I'd be interested to know like when that word actually came into existence.
Sure, that's probably
It's
a really
a
interesting.
newer, I would guess, in the last 20 to 30 years. It probably didn't exist
Well,
before
I mean,
then.
we have technology that I can just ask. Oh, did my dad text me? Question mark busy? No, he sent me a picture of the fish fry that he just had. Cool. Thank you so much for making me jealous about fish. Ugh.
Wait, why is there a fish fry?
What? I don't know. Why'd you have a fish fry? Is this like a holiday weekend? No. I'm like, you're not allowed to have a fish fry on a Thursday for
Well, I thought
no
he was
reason.
gonna do it for like.
Well, no, he did. He already sent me a picture of the
Okay,
fish fry for
you got the football fish fry.
I already got the foot. Yes, he loves to send me. And it's just sad because you know what? You know what I'm gonna send him back is when we get home, we have a whole ass thing of delicious ceviche that my aunt made us, and I'll send him that, and I'll be like, well, you got fish fry, I got ceviche. All right, what was I looking up? I got so distracted by
Imposter
fish.
syndrome.
Okay, when was imposter
Oh no! Just Google the word and it will give you the origin.
syndrome popularized? Okay, it was introduced in 1978.
Yeah, that
But
sounds
the
right.
phrase imposter syndrome came into more common use in the 1980s and 1990s as the concept spread beyond academic psychology into popular culture and workplace discussions.
Sounds
So
right.
it's not that old.
Yeah, 30, 40
So
years.
yeah, it was coined in 1978. Like that's not that long ago.
Sure, but it didn't probably enter the vernacular until like late 80s, early 90s.
Exactly. That's exactly what this says. So yeah, it is. It's a more recent thing that.
But it's kind of like so there is some truth to it, right? But it's also it's a made up thing,
Well, it's a mentality.
which is so much of life.
Well, 100%. So much of our life is made up in our heads. It's crazy.
When you're kind of started going on this path, like the other thing, I had this conversation with my mom about work, and so she's, a couple of years away from retirement. She's like, yeah, I just worked, to your point about being in the bar. She said, yeah, I just worked like 15 days straight. I'm working weekends right now. I'm learning how to relearning how to take MRIs because it's good. It'll be good for me. And it was a conversation I had with her that I had this moment of like, you and me have been working so hard for the last few years. And I think part of the thing that, again, like that I go back to is like, it doesn't feel like work. So it's hard to say like I've been working hard with everything that we talked about before.
Yeah.
And like, what's the point? We spend so much time working and brainwashed a little bit of like, we need to work 40 hours and 40 hours a week, or hustle culture, 80 hours a week as business owners. And it's like, what's the point?
Okay, so I honestly, I don't think that you and I have actually given into this needing to hit a certain amount of hours work week.
I would agree.
Like I like sometimes, and maybe, I don't know, is this imposter syndrome? Sometimes I hear about other people and they'll say like how many hours they clocked last week, or actually on this episode, John said something like, yeah, when an agent is working by themselves and they're doing every single thing from start to finish, and they have multiple deals in escrow or whatever, he was like, yeah, I mean, those agents will work a 12-hour day. And I'm like, I have literally never, in the bar industry, I have worked a 12-hour, 15-hour day, whatever the max is that I've done. And I've done that. In this, no, I have not.
You don't think you've worked a 12-hour day?
A 12-hour day?
I did one yesterday. Like I worked like 1,000%.
Not like I am working from the moment that I woke up to the moment I went to sleep.
This is where we like the whole thing about like hard work work conversation.
I don't know. Maybe there's parts of what we do like this right now. I understand that it's for the business, but like I do not consider this working.
Yeah, this is work.
I guess okay, I take that back. I guess
You've-
the days that we've like I'm thinking about like the holiday party, we've absolutely been in this building and moving furniture and decorating and
I mean, I love that it doesn't feel like you've had a 12-hour day of work the same way that it feels like in a bar or restaurant. Like that happens, and I work a double, but like we 100% work 12-hour days.
I just don't feel it, because maybe part of what I'm considering too is like, okay, think about how much time today we spent driving and how much time walking from the car to the thing to the other thing. All of those moments, I'm like, I'm not working. That's not me sitting at a desk and working for 12 hours without stopping. Whereas when we were bartending and serving, I legitimately was on my feet for 12 hours behind a bar, and the only thing that I'm even consuming is alcohol, because that's what they feed you sometimes in certain bars. You know what I'm saying? Is that to me felt like a 12-hour workday.
Yeah, because it's consecutive. So it's funny because you're actually like describing the way I think about work, right? But like, there's not most days for me. The moment I wake up, like the days I have on my morning routine where I do stuff for me in the morning, which hasn't been lately, but like once I start working, that all counts as a work day. Like even the driving, because I'm thinking about other things that like I'm processing stuff and things are happening in my brain where I'm thinking about things.
So thinking about work counts as work?
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's where I don't really.
But it doesn't feel like hard work, right?
Maybe that's what other people are counting as. Maybe okay. So that might be my disconnect. Is when I'm picturing someone say that they worked a 12-hour workday, I'm picturing that they're literally like sitting at their computer and basically only get up for bathroom breaks kind of a situation.
Yeah, no, I think most people, it's the nonstop, like I had calls and this happened and I had to go here and here and here. That's all part of the work, right? I hear what you're saying, and it's funny, like just the definitions of work that we've talked about.
Sure, yeah. Right? I mean, you're right. I'm now kind of proving your point a little bit from a few deep dives ago of like, I need to be sweating. Which is hilarious.
So I mean, what I'm hearing is like there's a level of enjoyment, so it doesn't, like this conversation when we're in this room, it doesn't feel like work, so I don't count it as work in my brain.
Yeah, I don't ever count. When we record, I do not count this as work. When I'm editing, I 1000% count that as work.
So I mean, for you, it's more like work is in front of a computer.
Yeah, if I'm in front of a computer, I'm working. If I'm, okay, I mean, I understand.
I'm simplifying.
Yeah. And I understand that there's other moments and things, but like certainly when we're driving from one location to the other, like I feel like if I'm going to compare it to the bar industry, it's like I'm clocked out on a break, basically.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because I'm the one driving and I'm working for CEO Christina. And where do you want to go, boss?
But even, I mean, to your point, so often when we are driving from one location to the next, we are talking about work and we're talking about things that, so I get it. I get what you're saying. And I think maybe there's just hours that I'm not clocking as work.
Not maybe. 100%.
Okay, so 100%.
the fact that you said I've never worked a 12-hour day is wild to me.
You're like, I've been with you for the 12-hour days that we've worked together.
I was up till 2 a.m. last night, and
maybe that's okay. So that's another thing too, is when my brain shuts down at night. You've seen it happen multiple times. Where like when I hit the wall at night, I'm done. I'm like, there's no more for me. There's no more juice. I'm out.
Yeah, I get it.
And
the way I'm hearing is you calculate is like every time I pick up my phone, it counts as me screen time, right? But like it's like the picking up and putting it down part.
Yeah, it's like I wasn't on my computer for more than 4 hours today, so like that was my I guess maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, but
my categories of work are.
I almost flip it, and it's like, when did I not work today? When did I not think about work? When was my mentality not there? When was the brain not thinking about stuff? When did I not have meetings when I was on my computer? When did I go for a run? That's not work.
Sure.
But and it's just kind of, I think the nature of our business and what we're doing and the way we've set this up is like 80-90% of what I'm doing is quote unquote work until it's not.
That's really this is eye-opening for me, Eric. I'm learning a lot right now about work and not work.
Well, I think the other part that's interesting is we've talked about from a coaching standpoint, therapy, like labeling something as quote unquote like doing the work, and how it's interesting to label it in a certain way. So what if, I mean, it sounds like there's a healthy disconnect for you where it's not work. And like, maybe that's a good thing.
Well, yeah.
Don't let me talk you into this. Maybe that's why you're thriving.
You're just, now you're like the toxins are coming in as like, oh, and you're working all the time.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm working 12-hour days every day, and maybe your brain is healthier because you're not. Like,
no, I just don't. Yeah. That's so funny.
What if none of it's work? Right? They get how many times do you hear people like, well, if you get a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Like,
you just said that. Well, yeah, I guess that's part of it too, right? There's things that maybe just feel very much like work, and we have had this conversation a little bit before, where most of the things that maybe I'm just considering work are the things that I just don't like to do.
Right. And so, I mean, when we've asked that question, like, what does hard work mean to you? When we've asked that to people, part of 6 Degrees, there's a generational aspect to it. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, it's the things that I don't like feel hard. Mm-hmm. And that's what I consider, like, that's the work bucket.
You know what?
I don't know what. Tell me what.
The literal part of my brain, right? This actually checks for me.
100% is
well,
the
because
part
yeah,
of your brain.
because I feel like so in the bar industry, I would clock in, right? I had to go clock in.
I'll go even more literal. Like, we're literally driving. I'm not working while I'm driving.
Exactly.
Don't even go back to the bar industry. Like, I'm driving right now. This isn't work.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying is like my computer is shut, so I'm not working. I'm like, what? Yeah, you know what though? So I'm gonna not let this get toxic for my brain. I'm gonna keep it healthy. And my mindset shift, what's gonna happen for me is to not feel as less than or not feel as guilty on like a day that I might not open my computer as much. I'm not on it and feeling like that's work, which, to be honest, there's so many times where I'll have my computer open anyway and I'm just like staring at it and going, what is the task I need to even be doing right now? And it makes me feel even worse. So
I have the opposite, where there's weekends where I try not to open the computer and I'm avoiding it, right? I'm trying to unplug, and then Monday comes and I don't feel set up for success because I didn't do anything, right? We've had that so many times. So
yeah.
The relationship to productivity and to moving the needle and focusing on quote unquote the right things, right? I think that's our learning edge.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Right now of, even, bringing people, like working with other people, right? And bringing people on.
Absolutely.
To support some of this stuff. And like the work is actually like making sure that they're set up for success.
Yeah.
And we're getting them what they need. And yeah, if there was just a week of, and who was I talking about this recently? But someone was like, what if the week was literally, I wake up for 30 minutes, I look at my email, the entire day is meetings. I don't look at my computer again because that's what we like to do, and it's productive for us. Be really good at. And then at the end of the day, I looked at my email again. That's the only time I'm checking out on my computer, and I did that for 5 days, and that was the entire week. is that work?
I mean, it wouldn't feel like work, right? That's to me. I mean, it's funny because even someone last night at the event that we were at, they said something where the husband mentioned, "Oh, I have to go golf tomorrow," and it's for work, right? It's to build relationships with the people that they're golfing with, and she was just like, "Are you complaining right now about your job of getting to go golf tomorrow? Like, is
Well,
that
I have a day of meetings.
yeah, while I'm sitting in this office and have meetings all day or whatever, right? And it's it's funny, our relationship to work and what we're doing. And
Well, it's just even like the two of us in this conversation, like I'm saying it's all work. You're saying like it's barely work. Right? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of, and I think that there's a bigger zoom out on that. It's like there's absolutes that are like it's all real, none of it's real. It all matters, none of it matters.
it doesn't feel like I'm working where I'm networking. I'm not networking at 6 degrees.
What's the opposite of networking?
What?
What's the opposite of
What's the opposite?
if it doesn't feel like work? What's the opposite of work?
Play? I don't know.
Net play?
Net play?
No, it's not it.
No, it's not. It's not a marketing grab. There's definitely been moments where I'm like, oh, wait, we just started going down this rabbit hole of our personal, our own business and whatever. And I think in the times that we've been in here and recording, and I'll think to myself, oh, I'm going to cut all of this. And then I listen back and I go, oh, someone might get something from this, potentially. Some entrepreneur who's out there fucking trying to figure it out. Granted, I don't know who's listening to this, honestly. I mean, I know certain people who are listening to every episode, but thank you for listening.
We're gonna keep
you know
going.
what? This is really good. I want to say thank you so much for listening. All of you who are here and listening. Like it means the world. Anytime we've had somebody who has mentioned that they listened to whatever episode it was, and one of our really good friends, Brandy, I will shout you out directly because she
thinks this whole thing is about her.
she does. She was
just
like,
finds
that
all the
story is about
moments.
me. That story is about me. You talked about Taylor Swift. That's definitely about me. Yes, Brandy, we love you so much.
Happy belated birthday. Thanks for hanging out with us for it.
Yes, it was so much fun. But that's the thing is, like, there's people who have shared like, oh yeah, I was listening to this and this came up. But it means a lot just to know that it's being heard and it's having an impact in some way, shape, or form. So thank you so much to the listeners out there.
We appreciate you.
Give me
Put
you're like,
there, bub.
oh my god. I felt like that took
It was it's the tortoise in the hair.
oh, tortoise in the hair. Put it there, bub.
Yeah, I did the slow version.
I mean, the tortoise does win the race in the end.
Yeah.
So I guess you're the real winner
I
here.
picked the winning side.